Hey guys, Johnny here from buildingmusicschool.com. Well, I have a crazy vlog for you today because our competition has actually just been shut down for a full investigation because they accidentally hired a registered sex offender with children and hired him as a reliever, and now there's a full investigation being done. Their school's been shut down. They've chosen to keep paying their staff through this period. It's been going for 4 weeks. They don't know how much longer it's going to take. I know this because 2 of my team members work there on a Saturday for some extra money, and they've told me about this, and so I don't think it's reached the whole media or anything yet, but you can imagine the damage it is going to do to their school, having to pay all the staff with no money coming in, and it is pretty crazy. So how do we make sure that this never happens to you or your school or your private teaching business? I'm going to give you a whole bunch of steps that we have in place. I'm going to show you some documents that we use so this never happens to you. Okay, let's get into it. So the first thing you need to make sure you always do, and I would say you want to do this for yourself, even just to, be protected, is you need to make sure anyone that works for you, yourself, or anyone you hire is police checked or police vetted. Now you can do that by contacting, just Googling in your country or state how to police vet someone. It's usually as simple as registering on some sort of vetting website with state authorities and filling out a form, paying a few dollars, and sending it off to be processed. Usually you have to scan some ID, say a driver's license or a passport of the person you want to vet, and that's depending on how long your country takes. It could be a few days, it could be a few weeks for that to come through. Now, you want to make sure every person has that done before they start working for you. Now, the other thing you want to do is you want to make sure that you check at least 2 references for that person. And when you check references, you don't just ring up and sort of say, hey, is this a good guy? Would you trust him around kids? All this sort of stuff. You actually want to have, a proper list of questions that you would that you are looking for to not only see that they're safe, but also that they are going to be a good worker for your school. And you want to make sure that you take notes, okay? Most people don't ever do this, but you need to make sure you take notes for this reference check. And it doesn't have to be some crazy amount of detail, but you need to actually write down, I called Steve Jones and he was the boss at the supermarket that someone worked at, and he worked there for this long, and he said these things about him, and he recommends him. His only concern was this and that. And you need to just write those notes down, put it in a Word doc or in a Google Doc, store it in a file safely, so that you can show you did your due diligence. You did a police check, you got references checked, and you did not, very carefully listen, did not let them start working with you or your children or your students until all of that was done, okay? That is an absolute no-no, to let someone start, and you're putting yourself at massive amounts of risk if they haven't had those documents all cleared. So that is one of the most important things you need to get done. The next thing that you need to have, that most people don't even know they need to have, is a child protection policy, okay? So this is our one, and it goes into great detail about our child protection policy, and it's got a formal letter from me, and how we assess things and how we train staff to make sure that they understand this policy, they understand their obligations, they understand the company's obligations, and they understand how to interact with children properly, and all that sort of stuff. Now, it can seem quite daunting, but this is something to protect you, right? It's something to make sure that it's just, you never plan for these things. You're not even you just can't trust everyone. You actually just have to go through due diligence. It's just like if you buy a house, you don't just go, oh, it's such a sweet old lady, there can't be anything wrong with it. She says it's fine, we'll just buy it. No, you go and get a builder's report who looks over everything. So when you're going to hire someone to work with children under your brand, everything you've worked hard for, you're going to go get a basic police check, references checked, and you're going to have a child protection policy to train your staff in, so they know how to act properly and not to do something wrong or and get your business torn down. So one of the ways that we make sure that this stuff sinks in, that they really do understand this, is we walk our team through an actual test. So this here is about 4 pages, and it's got about 15 questions where they have to answer. Some of it's multi-choice, some of it's like write and explain the answer to this thing, and it goes into real detailed sort of situations. You've got a student who does this and this, and how do you react, and there's so many such a wide arrangement of different situations there that you need to consider. I won't go into detail in all of them because I don't want this to be too long, but this is something that you need to actually train your team in, because it protects them as well. They actually want to know this, and some people will think that the extent of their child protection policy is like, please don't touch any of the students, please don't hug them. If you're going to move their hand for adjusting technique or something, please just ask them, or say, I'm just going to adjust your hand, is that okay? That's that's good stuff, but that's the extent of your child protection policy, and that's nothing. There's actually so many more details and things that you need to know. So if you're in our BAM squad, then this stuff is in the protection documents in module 6, which of course has all the health and safety things and all the other things we need to protect ourselves from. And it sounds so daunting and scary, right? You think, man, I just want to teach kids music, I just want to have fun and make some cool tunes, but you actually just need to have this stuff in place as well. You've taken that authority of being a business owner, and so you've taken that leap, and you get that potential reward with a bit more money and free time, being your own boss and all that sort of stuff, but you take on a lot more risk as well. And it doesn't need to be that daunting in terms of, especially if you're a BAM squad member, you just literally take your logo, take my school name out, put yours in, read the documents, understand them, learn how to teach it to your team, have them read it, understand it, go through the test, sign the documents, scan it in, store it in their sort of their employee file, and you are sorted. That's pretty much it. And just if anything ever comes up, it becomes a conversation. Well, how does this fit into the child protection policy? What should we have done here? So it's about getting smarter, getting protected, and making sure that you never have a horrible incident like this school. As I mentioned, they're our competition, but we would never wish this upon our competition. We want to see all kids have the opportunity to learn music, whether it's with us or someone else, and it's just really heartbreaking to know the amount of hard work they would have put into their school, and to, potentially this could ruin them. If it gets into the media, they could lose, hundreds of students. If it drags out for months and months and they're still paying their team members, you got no money coming in, you go bankrupt. It's really bad news. So I really hope for all of you, you take this stuff seriously, and you do implement it as soon as possible. So get in touch with me, or comment below if you have any questions. And there we go. So a bit of a scary one today, but take it seriously, get it done. You've ticked that box, put the process in place, and you won't need to worry about it. You'll be able to sort of relax and know that you've done the right thing, everything's in place, and you can go back to just playing music, teaching kids, and having a whole lot of fun. Thanks everyone. Comment below if you need to, and I will talk to you soon.